Ladies and gentlemen, even Dianne Feinstein, according to the Los Angeles Times, she was open. She was open to acquitting Trump. The interesting thing is that there's not only Dianne Feinstein. There's Kyrsten Sinema of Arizona. There's Doug Jones of Alabama. There's Joe Manchin of West Virginia. There are a total now of 4 Democratic senators who could vote to acquit. I don't think that Feinstein's going to acquit Trump. There's a Los Angeles Times article saying this. There's a whole bunch of articles talking about Hillary Clinton having the urge to run again. How they're going to impeach President Trump on hearsay and gossip when even President Zelensky stated there was no quid pro quo, no leverage, no pressure. There's nothing in the transcript. Nothing in anything that President Poroshenko, the president prior to Zelensky, stated he wasn't pressured either. Another top Ukrainian official stated there was no pressure. So, in order for Democrats to have their fantasy fulfilled, you'd have to believe that President Zelensky, his predecessor, President Poroshenko, another top Ukrainian official that also agrees with Zelensky and Poroshenko, that they're all part of Trump's hypnosis. They're all being hypnotized by Trump. Okay? They're all being hypnotized by Trump. And you'd have to believe that. See, Democrats have no direct evidence. When they say Trump without evidence says this or that, he's putting 2 and 2 together. But Democrats without evidence, literally without evidence, have impeached Trump. There are people who agree that Joe Biden and Hunter Biden were compromised. Is there direct evidence? No. Is there suspicion? Are there dots to connect? Should Biden have been part of? Should Hunter have been part of a board of directors of a corrupt energy company, where Joe Biden was the point man for Ukraine? Should Joe Biden have bragged about firing a Ukrainian prosecutor that was looking into Burisma, or going to look into Burisma? And should that have happened? Where's the suspicion there? Do you think that Burisma was smart enough? Do you think it was just a coincidence? You think they wanted Hunter Biden on the board of directors because why? Because of his experience on the Amtrak board? It's not about nepotism. He didn't just get the job to get paid. If it was just nepotism, I wouldn't care. This is about corruption. Hunter Biden took a job that compromised Joe Biden's autonomy or ability to conduct U.S. foreign policy objectively. That's the issue. You say, well, there's no direct evidence. Well, yeah, there's no direct evidence that Trump withheld military assistance. Everyone knows this. FiveThirtyEight wrote an article on this. The Associated Press wrote an article on this. It's all the opinions of people like Bill Taylor and Solond and Dr. Fiona Hill and Marie Yovanovitch. Well, what about the opinions of John Solomon? What about the opinions of Rudy Giuliani? Oh, you don't trust those opinions. What about the opinions of Rand Paul, who says the whole thing is corrupt? What about the opinion of Ted Cruz? Oh, you don't trust those people. Oh, okay, what about Pompeo's opinion? Oh, you trust the diplomats, but not the Secretary of State. Gotcha. It would be the other way around if Clinton were Secretary of State and a bunch of diplomats disagreed with President Obama. Left would say, oh, my God, but you're going to disagree with the Secretary of State? Well, the Secretary of State knows a lot more than diplomats. But here, a top Ukrainian official claims... So, this is interesting. No pressure. No pressure at all. No pressure. And I'm trying to find the name of that Ukrainian official, but here, that's right. The Ukraine Foreign Minister Defense calls Zelensky. I think there was no pressure. So there you go. You have Ukrainian Foreign Minister, President Zelensky, President Poroshenko. So all the top Ukrainian officials have stated there was no pressure, no quid pro quo. They still impeached Trump. Now, Trump's legal team said, look, these articles of impeachment, not only are they devoid of any reference to the Mueller probe, because the Mueller probe was said to, oh my God, well, they didn't indict because of a Justice Department memo. Well, what about obstruction of justice? You said that Trump obstructed justice. Oh, yeah, well, that's what he really did. Well, why didn't you include that in the articles of impeachment? Why didn't you include that within the articles of impeachment? They didn't. So Trump's legal team has stated, look, Dershowitz, Pam Bondi, Cipollone, Jay Sekulow, Ken Starr, running circles around Democrats. So they said, look, there's no evidence here. There's no direct evidence. Democrats are connecting the dots because they say, well, what other reason could there be aside from election meddling for Trump to withhold military assistance? What other reason could there be? What other reason could there be? Well, the same reason that Biden used to fire that prosecutor. The prosecutor was looking into Burisma. The prosecutor was about to go after Burisma. It's not, you have to answer, why did they have Hunter Biden on the board of directors? Why? Why did Clinton delete 30,000 emails? Why did she own a private server? It wasn't for convenience, it wasn't for yoga, and it wasn't because of Hunter Biden's Amtrak experience. It was because of corruption. Democrats look the other way when the corruption is, well, the corruption warrants an investigation. So, okay, Trump could have withheld military assistance for the issue of corruption to make sure that the money went to through the appropriate channels, that the money went to government officials and not into the pockets of oligarchs or certain officials or whatever. That's plausible. It's actually a lot more likely than Biden firing a prosecutor because of the Obama administration. President Obama never told Joe Biden to fire that prosecutor. We have no record, no documentation, no nothing stating he went there to fire a prosecutor. Furthermore, was he given the authority? Generally, the vice president and even the president doesn't have the authority to tell another country to fire their officials. This was not official U.S. foreign policy, and if it was, why isn't President Obama stating that it was? Because President Obama, through his former campaign manager, and through Politico, has stated that he'll intervene if Bernie gets too close to the nomination. So he can have his voice heard when it comes to cheating Bernie Sanders, but he can't have his voice heard when it comes to defending Joe Biden. The one thing you did hear about Joe Biden from President Obama is that he couldn't win. Biden can't win. And now you have today, Hillary Clinton has the urge to run. All of this, I'll be doing a segment on H.A. Goodman's other channel. I did a segment on this channel, a live stream. I'm going to have a live stream later tonight at around 10 p.m. or so. And I'll do a live stream. I think I'll try to do a live stream during the days in the morning, or the first segment of the day I'll try to do as a live stream. But ladies and gentlemen, this is a complete and utter debacle for Democrats. Dianne Feinstein, she's probably not going to acquit. She'll probably try to convict. They're not going to remove Trump, obviously. You need 67 votes. This is all for public relations. This is a public relations disaster for Democrats. Absolute disaster for Democrats. But you have Kyrsten Sinema of Arizona. She possibly could vote to acquit. Okay? I think Joe Manchin and Doug Jones I think there will be two Democrats who vote to acquit. Okay? I think Joe Manchin definitely is there. In terms, ladies and gentlemen, of Hillary and the DNC, Clinton is going to be nominee. Democrats don't run a fair primary. They don't care about winning, okay? The Democratic Party makes no sense. They have neoconservatives, and they have Bill Kristol and Max Boot and Robert Kagan and Hillary Clinton. That foreign policy is a foreign policy, an interventionist regime change foreign policy. They go after Tulsi Gabbard, and they go after Trump. They go after Jill Stein, and they go after Bernie Sanders. Okay? It's if you're too far to the left, too far well, Trump is not way too far to the right. Not at all. You look at Trump's policies, bringing home Americans, an anti-interventionist foreign policy, stated numerous times he wants to bring home Americans from regions of conflict. First president to step foot in North Korea. 5 million people lifted out of poverty. 5 million people lifted out of poverty. That's pretty good during President Trump's economy. The poverty rate and the number of people, there are less people now in poverty. The poverty rate decreased, and there are less people now in poverty. So, I mean, you look at 6 to 7 million jobs created. Factcheck.org says 6 million as of the beginning of 2020. So 6 million jobs created in 3 years compared to 8.9 million in 8 years. He's on pace to shatter President Obama's job creation numbers. Record low unemployment. How is that a bad thing? How can you refute that if you're a Democrat? What are you going to say? Well, it started under Obama. How is that a rebuttal? Yeah, record highs started under Obama also, and Bush started the bailouts. So the end of the recession started with Bush. He's the one who started the bailouts. Are you going to say that also? Are you going to say President Obama's economic recovery was because Bush pumped in money, billions and billions of dollars before Obama? Was it $700 billion? So, I mean, you're not going to say that, are you? You know, you're not going to say that it was Bush's economy. Let's see, $700 billion. Bush signed $700 billion financial bailout, October 3rd, 2018. You mean to tell me that until January of 2008, October 3rd, 2008, Bush signed $700 billion financial bailout. So Bush started the bailouts. Should he get credit for the recovery? How does that work? You could easily go and look at a president's predecessor and say, well, you know, there's certain things that happened that paved the groundwork for all the good things that are taking place in this administration. Okay? But Democrats don't do that. They don't say, oh yeah, well, Bush started the bailouts. They say, well, Obama saved the country. Likewise, this is President Trump's economy. 3 years in, President Trump's economy. Okay? The Dallas Federal Reserve has stated, you know, Democrats can say anything they want about, they can say anything they want about, they can say anything they want about, anything. I'm looking at Biden now. Biden won't say whether Sanders could unify Dems as nominee. Well, there you go. There you go. They're going to cheat. They're cheating already. The whole thing is for Clinton. This whole thing is for Clinton right now. Impeachment is a sham. It's sham-impeachment. They're impeaching a president that has a great economy and a foreign policy that's infinitely better. First president stepped foot in North Korea. 5 million people lifted out of poverty. 5 million people. This is a fact. How can you say that you need to remove this president, that he's unfit to serve, when you had the greatest reduction in poverty during that time period? A much greater reduction in poverty than at any point during President Obama or President Bush's administration. How can you say that? And record low unemployment for Black and Latino citizens and for all citizens. And the unemployment rate for Hispanic and Latino men is below the national average. So it's pretty unbelievable. It's pretty unbelievable how Democrats are in their own world. But like I said, the economy is great. You're just not going to, the economy is great. You're not going to impeach a president and expect every Democrat to fall in line, especially when they have vulnerable seats. Doug Jones and Manchin, I think, are two great possibilities. Manchin, I think he will acquit President Trump. Kyrsten Sinema, possible. Unlikely with Feinstein, but it's kind of hilarious that there's an uproar now that she might acquit Trump. Give me your thoughts below. Check out H.A. Goodman's other channel right now. I'll be having a live stream tonight at around 10 p.m.